The morning sun kissed the fields of Green Meadow Farm, bathing the vast expanse of corn and wheat in a golden glow. Jacob, a middle-aged farmer with calloused hands and a weathered face, leaned against his wooden fence, sipping on a mug of steaming coffee. His gaze swept across the landscape, taking in the sight of his hard work bearing fruit. Yet, something felt amiss. Despite the beauty, an unsettling feeling nagged at him, as though the air itself carried a whisper of change. It was a quiet night when it began. Jacob was out inspecting his crops, flashlight in hand, after noticing an unusual pattern of flattened corn in his fields. His dog, Max, stayed close, ears perked and tail rigid. The stillness of the night was interrupted by a faint hum, barely audible but growing louder. Jacob's flashlight beam darted toward the source, revealing an unearthly glow coming from the far end of the field. Cautiously, he approached, Max growling softly by his side. As Jacob neared, the glow intensified, illuminating a small, circular clearing in his cornfield. In the center stood a sleek, metallic object, unlike anything Jacob had ever seen. It wasn't large, perhaps the size of a tractor, but it radiated an aura of mystery. Before he could take another step, a figure emerged from behind the craft. Standing barely 5 feet tall, the being had a slender frame, large almond-shaped eyes that shimmered like liquid silver, and skin that reflected the light in shades of pale green. Jacob froze, his heart pounding. Max barked once but then fell silent, as if sensing something extraordinary. The being raised a hand, not in threat, but in what Jacob interpreted as a greeting. "Greetings," the being spoke, its voice melodic and soft, yet clear in Jacob's mind despite its lack of movement. "I mean no harm." Jacob's instincts told him to run, but his curiosity anchored him. "Who, or what are you?" he managed to stammer. "I am Colin, a traveler from a distant world. My vessel encountered difficulties, and I seek temporary refuge to repair it." Jacob's grip on the flashlight tightened. "Why here? Why my farm?" Colin tilted its head, a gesture that seemed almost human. "Your land is rich and teeming with life. It drew me here, much like a flower draws a bee. I assure you, I will not disturb your livelihood." Jacob hesitated, torn between fear and the unshakable feeling that he was standing on the edge of something remarkable. Finally, he exhaled deeply. "All right. But if you're staying, you're helping. I've got a farm to run, and I can't afford any freeloaders, alien or not." Colin's eyes shimmered with what Jacob interpreted as amusement. "Agreed." And so began the unlikely partnership between a solitary farmer and an extraterrestrial traveler. Over the following days, Colin proved to be an asset. Despite its delicate appearance, it possessed remarkable strength and dexterity. It worked tirelessly, assisting Jacob with tasks ranging from mending fences to planting seeds. But it wasn't just physical labor Colin contributed. The alien introduced techniques that baffled Jacob but yielded incredible results. Crops grew faster, healthier, and more abundant than ever before. One evening, as they sat by the barn sharing a quiet moment, Jacob finally voiced the question that had been gnawing at him. "Why do you know so much about farming? I mean, you're not even from this planet." Colin gazed at the stars. "On my homeworld, we have a deep connection to the land. Though our methods differ, the principles remain the same. Life thrives when nurtured with care and understanding." Jacob nodded thoughtfully. "Funny, isn't it? Two beings from completely different worlds, and we both find meaning in the soil." Colin's eyes softened. "Perhaps it's not so surprising. The act of growing sustains more than just the body. It feeds the soul." Their bond deepened as they exchanged knowledge. Jacob taught Colin the intricacies of earthly agriculture, the rhythms of the seasons, the importance of crop rotation, and the joy of a perfectly ripe tomato. In return, Colin shared insights into alien flora and introduced sustainable practices that seemed almost magical. Word of Jacob's flourishing farm began to spread. Neighbors marveled at his thriving crops and sought his advice. Jacob deflected their questions with vague explanations, wary of revealing Colin's presence. Yet, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in their shared achievements. One night, as a meteor shower streaked across the sky, Colin turned to Jacob with a solemn expression. "My repairs are nearly complete. Soon, I must leave." Jacob's heart sank. Though their time together had been brief, it had profoundly impacted him. "Will you ever come back?" Colin hesitated. "The universe is vast, and my journey is uncertain. But I will carry the memory of this place and our bond wherever I go." When the day of departure arrived, Jacob stood by as Colin prepared to leave. The alien extended a hand, and Jacob grasped it firmly. "Thank you," Jacob said, his voice thick with emotion. "For everything." Colin's eyes glimmered. "No, Jacob. It is I who must thank you. For your kindness, your wisdom, and for reminding me of the simple joys that unite all living beings." As the craft ascended, Jacob watched until it disappeared into the heavens. The field seemed quieter, the air heavier. Yet, as he turned to tend to his crops, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Colin's influence lingered, not just in the thriving fields but in Jacob's heart. From that day on, Green Meadow Farm became a beacon of hope and prosperity, a testament to the power of connection and the magic of nurturing life, no matter where it came from. As the seasons turned, Jacob often found himself looking up at the night sky, wondering about Colin's journey. He continued to apply the lessons he had learned, incorporating Colin's techniques and passing them on to other farmers in the community. He felt a sense of quiet pride knowing that Colin's legacy lived on through the thriving lands and the stories he shared with others. One particularly clear night, a familiar hum filled the air. Jacob's heart raced as he ran to the fields. There, amidst the corn, a soft glow illuminated the darkness. It wasn't Colin, but a small capsule, left behind with a single message: "The soil of this world holds more than just seeds. It holds the promise of unity. Thank you, Jacob." Jacob smiled, tears glistening in his eyes. The bond he had formed with Colin was unlike anything he'd ever known, and it reminded him that the universe's vastness was not a barrier but an invitation to grow, to connect, and to nurture life in all its forms. And so, under the starlit sky, Jacob stood tall, a farmer not just of the earth but of the endless possibilities that lay beyond it.